for listening to the Cactus Golf Podcast. Excited for this interview. It's actually probably going to be the first episode where we solely just talk to someone about what they've got going on in the golf space. You know, we've got two different types of episodes. One where we give you guys all the latest and greatest news, all the betting tips that we have going on. Now we're going to branch off a little bit and just talk to certain people in the golf space and what they have going on and what things that maybe you'd be interested in yourself. So we're bringing on Benjamin from GolfRoots. If you don't know what GolfRoots is, I'm sure he'll explain it a lot better than I will. But GolfRoots is a site where you can go on and you can look at clubs pre-owned and pre-used clubs. And you guys have new clubs too as well. I think I saw a couple that were brand new as well. And they have some great deals on it. So I would definitely, first of all, I'd stop this episode right now. Head over to GolfRoots, check them out, because I was exploring before these past few days before this episode, and there's a couple things I'm keeping my eye out. There's some pretty good deals out there, man. I'm not going to lie, but I'm excited to have you on here and, excited to pick your brain on what you guys have going on and kind of the backstory of how you got started. So welcome to the Cactus Golf Podcast. Excited to have you, Benjamin.
Well, thanks for having me, Matt. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this. Let's start from day one. You're one of the co-founders. I think there are two or three of you guys that are co-founders.
There are two of us.
Gotcha. So let's talk about that. What made you guys want to start something like this? Starting GolfRoots.
That's a great question. I started playing golf when I was 4 years old and played until I was about 7. When I was 7, I stopped playing golf pretty much cold turkey because all I was doing was soccer. And when I stopped playing club and school soccer, when I was 18, I got back into golf like many athletes do as a way to, channel some of that competitive nature and the athletic drive to improve and develop this new skill. And I fell in love with golf. And so throughout college, I played all the time. I went to Texas A&M, and there's a golf course on campus. And so
that's pretty cool.
The easiest. Yeah, it was great. And so every day I'd go practice. And like most college kids, I wouldn't want to spend money. So I would work on my short game all the time and all that. And so, I worked at a golf course out in New Mexico and at Las Campanas, which is a fantastic club. While I was out there, they gave me a lot of their old demos and rentals and just random clubs, random wedges mainly they wanted to get rid of. And so when COVID came around and I was bored at home, I just started selling some of the golf clubs I had sitting in the garage on Facebook Marketplace, on Nextdoor. And I realized that, there were a lot of people who had golf clubs that had just been gathering dust sitting in their garages. And so I started reaching out to friends and family saying, hey, are you looking to get rid of some of these clubs? I can sell them for you on consignment. And so I started consigning clubs and getting them from all sorts of different sources and started selling them to people. The next thing I realized was that it's really challenging to get into this game if you don't know a ton about golf. The way I got started is I was incredibly interested, not just in playing golf, but learning how to improve and train and understand the equipment that I was playing with. So I spent a ton of time researching. And so I was really lucky because I had hand-me-down clubs from my grandpa. That's what it was able to get me into the game. And then from that research, I was able to then develop my next set of clubs and improve my golf clubs from there. Most people don't have that. And so it's really difficult for people to buy used clubs. And so what I started doing was packaging these clubs into full sets. And I tried to sell them to my friends. Now, Jake, who's my co-founder, was one of those friends. He had absolutely no interest in buying golf clubs from me. However, he was really interested in the business and was curious to learn a bit more about it. And so we sat down and we chatted about kind of what we wanted to do. And we built a website together and went from selling clubs on Facebook Marketplace to selling clubs on Facebook Marketplace with a website.
Oh, fancy.
And right. And so that was really the start of it. We went back to college that year. This is our winter of our senior year of college. And
what year is this?
And this was 2020. So December 2020. Okay. So we're just about at our 3rd year anniversary. And so we were running it from our college dorm rooms. He went to WashU in St. Louis. I went to Texas A&M. And so it started growing and growing and growing. And that need of, affordable full sets of clubs started to grow and grow and grow and grow. More people wanted what we were selling, and they wanted the ease at which it was to buy clubs. That was
Mhm.
really one of the big things that we found, is that people don't know what to buy, and golf is so overwhelming. And so if
Mhm.
we can really approach those two issues, it makes buying golf clubs a lot easier. And that's really fueled a lot of what we've done now with our social media and developing our website, is trying to make it so that it's easier for people to do all these things without feeling so intimidated.
No, that's incredibly accurate because myself, I played sports my whole life. Golf was I played every once in a while, but I was mostly baseball.
Right.
So baseball for me, it was
Hmm.
always my coach telling me you can't play golf and play baseball because you mess up
Right. Yeah.
your baseball swing. So that was like the world that I live in. And coming out of high school, going into college, I wanted to keep playing something like you mentioned, competitive, keep your competitive spirit going, and that was golf. But you start off and like there's endless amount of club manufacturers out there and club brands
Hmm.
out there, and majority of it is sold in not majority of it are not sold in sets. So as a beginner,
Yeah.
you're looking and you're like, well, I have no idea where to even start here. So that's a
That's spot
perfect,
on.
yeah, no, it's I can resonate with that completely because selling it in sets, especially as a beginner, just resonates so much better because it's a one-stop shop. I don't have to try out all these different things. Mostly, I don't even know what's going on too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. What the hell is a hybrid? That doesn't make any sense. Like,
Exactly.
what is,
Yeah.
none of these things are intuitive. And I think that's where the golf industry, really slips up. And quite
Hmm.
frankly, it seems like historically that's probably something that they did on purpose, right?
Hmm.
And golf historically has been designed to keep people out rather than invite people in. And that's a
Yep.
huge problem. I think that really one of the unique aspects of what we're doing is it allows people to get these full sets that have existed, but
Hmm.
they are getting full sets of clubs that are actual quality. What existed previously in the marketplace were Strata, Wilson,
Hmm.
Top Flight full sets.
Yep.
Let's face it; those are terrible clubs, and
Yeah.
and right, like they're not
Yeah.
good, and they're way more expensive than they probably should be.
Hmm.
But those are the best options for newer golfers,
Hmm.
at least at the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If
No,
you can't
absolutely.
get hand-me-down clubs, that's probably the best way to do it, unless you have a friend who's sitting behind you saying, "Hey, buy this, buy this, buy this." We're
Correct.
that friend now. That's kind of where we wanted to sit.
I
That's
like
our
that.
whole goal there.
I like that you're looking over everyone's shoulder now, really helping everyone
Exactly.
out in that way. And I would laugh earlier too because my first set that my dad got for me was a Top Flight set, and it was
There you go.
the easiest
Right?
thing. You go to Dick's Sporting Goods, they have the whole
Yeah.
package there. It's super easy, but
It's
again,
done. One.
it's crap. I mean, it ain't that
Yeah,
great, right?
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
They're just
just
not great clubs. And,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
it doesn't set you up for success in your golf game either,
Hmm.
because you're going to spend $500 on this set and you're thinking, okay, that's not a bad deal. What most newer golfers don't realize is those clubs are not going to age with you at
No.
all. So it's really just flushing 500 down the drain. It's really not, and that's really tough for a lot of people to realize later. They'll get discouraged and they don't want to spend that next 500 on
Hmm.
whatever next upgrade that is, which is totally understandable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree completely. So would you say your guys' core customer is that, person just getting into the game of golf, or is it like, that just getting in and then kind of like that maybe that next step, that next set that they're looking for? They've already got the Top Flight set. Now they've been playing for a few years. Now they're trying to get something a little bit upgrade, but not sure exactly where to go.
Yeah, we kind of service a few different parts of the market. For one, we really work a lot with these brand new golfers. And we do that
Hmm.
either through these full sets or are just the root sets, which I can talk about later. Those are
Hmm.
the least expensive starter set in the entire industry.
Hmm.
On the other end is we sell a ton of individual clubs and these more advanced full sets for a golfer. Maybe they're upgrading from Grandpa's Ping I2s or Big Berthas from 1994.
Hmm.
That's a big segment of our customer base, are people who want nicer clubs and don't want to spend the money to get the newest of the new. And
Hmm.
then finally, we have a segment of customers who are more advanced golfers who play a lot of golf, who like exactly what they like, and they just want to get a better deal.
Yeah.
And our deals are better. So it's a simple decision for them to make. Those are our three core customers: is the guy who's never picked up a club, or girl who's never picked up a club, the person who is ready for that upgrade, and that person who's really advanced and plays a lot and loves just getting new sticks.
Would you say you guys are pretty evenly split between those three demographics, or do you favor one? Do you have more traffic from one than the other?
I would say we fit right in the middle, mainly because there are fewer newer golfers than there are that middle segment, and there are
Hmm.
fewer super advanced golfers than there are. So we fit really well in the middle,
Gotcha.
but we take a lot of steps to and to be honest, we're working on more things to service that third customer as well. But feel like we've done a really good job of developing things to focus on the brand new and the newer golfer,
Yeah,
and we hope to continue to work on those as well.
absolutely.
But
And
yeah, I'd say right in the middle.
gotcha. And starting, you said right in end of 2020 was a perfect time too. I mean, the world was shut down. Everyone was
Right.
still a golf. The golf space was still out there, right? People were still able to go outside, play with their friends, and golf. Like so, the golf market saw a huge explosion during 2020.
Hmm.
So starting at that right time, I mean, call it fate. That's like the perfect time to
Yeah.
start what you guys did because you had
Right.
such an influx of new golfers into the space, or even people who maybe they played every once in a while but they were playing way more then just because it was
Absolutely.
something that they could be able to keep going. So,
Absolutely. And what we want to do is we want to keep that trend going up, right? There's so many barriers to entry into this game.
mhm,
Our goal is to break those down so that it's not just 2020 where we're seeing this big, hockey stick. We want to see that continuous growth
correct.
throughout, as long as we can keep that going and keep people in this game, not just get them to buy our clubs and then stop caring about them.
No, absolutely. So how do you guys acquire new customers? Is it mostly ads? Is it word of mouth? Is it partnering with different
Yeah.
organizations? Like what does that look like?
It's a good question, and that's something that Jake, my partner, really focuses on. On We do a lot of ads on
Hmm.
Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We do a lot of organic content as well. That's really been a key area of focus on TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube as well. Is pushing out a lot of helpful and content that is going to make it easier for people to play golf in
Hmm.
whatever way they need help, whether it's rules or etiquette or stuff about the equipment or helping them learn what to buy, or even just fun stuff that makes them feel comfortable with this game. That's where we put a lot of our energy towards,
Hmm.
and that's where we get a lot of our customers from.
What you're talking about, you're providing value for everyone, right? In
Exactly.
so many different avenues and ways. And you guys, I think I saw you have over 50,000 followers on Instagram, over 60,000 followers on TikTok. So obviously you're providing value because that you got a
Hope
lot of
so.
a pretty good following from that. And obviously you get followers from advertisements. I mean, we run ads on social media and you get followers that just happen to come across your ads, but providing that organic content is what keeps people around for a longer period of time too. They're not just seeing the same ad over and over. They're following you for a reason now at that point,
Right.
which is extremely important. So I love that. I think so you guys started on what was the fastest growing social for you guys? Was it Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok, yeah, we
Yeah.
TikTok took so
It's
long.
just
It's just crazy. I mean,
yeah,
like we
it is,
had,
man.
I guess this time last year across Instagram and TikTok combined, we had about 5,000 total followers.
Oh
Now
wow.
we have nearly 120,000,
Yeah.
and completely organically too. It's been really interesting. We found kind of what our niche was in terms
Mm-hmm.
of content, which was educational.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. I think I'm kind of funny, but evidently not enough to move the needle. So
Yeah.
um, we that's really what we discovered this year. It's been very interesting to see.
No, I just watched one earlier today. Someone was explaining the difference between a Scotty Cameron and one of the new ping putters, and how
Yeah.
the mill grind on the face is pretty much the exact same. So it's education is huge because someone, especially that's even someone who's been in the space for such a long time, or someone who's brand new, they're learning from you guys, which is
Right.
great. So it's another excuse, another reason to follow you, which is another reason to go to your site, which is another reason to have trust in you and to make that purchase. So it's a perfect formula. I really enjoy that a lot.
And
Question.
Matt, the other thing
Good.
about sorry, I was just gonna say
No,
the
you're
other thing
good.
about that is it fits super well with our overall mission, which is to make golf accessible. And part of that is people need to have their own knowledge of the equipment to be able to develop their own thoughts and opinions and learn new things about what they're using.
Hmm.
And so it's the accessibility is behind every single thing that we do, which is really why we love the social stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really enjoy that. So another question I have for you, what's been the biggest challenge that you guys have faced so far when starting this?
Yeah, when starting it was finding equipment or to sell.
Hmm.
We started out by calling every golf course in Texas and going around and asking them for their lost and found clubs.
Hmm.
That worked while we were college kids and they wanted to help. At
Yeah.
some point, that dried up. We weren't able to figure it out, so we got on eBay and bought all the clubs that we could and
Yeah.
tried to sell those and tiny margins. And
Hmm.
it wasn't until we realized that there was a way to combine two different sides of this industry, the consumer that we sell to and the courses that fuel this industry, that wasn't until then that we really you know saw that growth. And so we work with private and some public courses around the country,
Hmm.
um, helping them provide a service to their members where their members are able to trade in their old clubs and get credit there at their pro shop,
Mm.
which helps the courses to retain these sales, compete against the big box retailers,
Yeah.
and provide a really great service for the members. And on the back end, we're able to take those clubs and bring them to the masses. Like we're the Robin Hood of golf clubs. We're buying from the rich and giving to everyone else. That's the way we like to think about it. So
I love
um,
that. That's hilarious. That's
so
amazing.
that's yeah, but that was our bottleneck, was finding inventory. And we have a lot of clubs,
Yeah.
and a steady stream of it too. The really cool thing is, like, we work with clubs like, Riviera and Colonial and Olympia Fields, like places like that all over the United Estancia there in
Yeah.
Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Um, where people, let's face it, have done pretty well in their careers and their lives and made a fair amount of money, are able
Hmm.
to buy nice clubs. And it's really cool to see that they get really excited about the fact that they know that these clubs are going to, fuel the growth of the game. That means a ton to them, right? They
Mm.
love golf. And so, you know, selling these clubs to unnamed secondhand retailer, which, that doesn't really do a whole lot for someone who's been that successful. They don't care about $20 they're getting for their wedge that much, right?
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
so, the service, maybe the credit they're getting, but also knowing that they're able to help someone else enjoy this sport. That's really exciting to them,
I like that a
as
lot.
well.
Who came up with that idea? Is that something that you guys came up with, or is something was this going on already before you guys started, or how did
I
that?
I think it was going on before we started it, but we came up
Okay.
with it organically. It was funny. We were actually just buying clubs from courses, and one of
Hmm.
them said, "Do you guys, buy members clubs at, let's say we were doing a demo day, could they trade in their clubs then?" We were like, "Yeah, of course we do that." And
Hmm.
we had no idea what that would look like, and so we had to
Yeah.
scramble and kind of figure that out. And so that's really what fueled our growth, was doing that. And we do that in the form of these things called trade-in days, where our team comes on site at these clubs for a single day event where members bring in their old clubs and get credit for them in the shop. It's a great service for them. We do this everywhere from Washington State to Massachusetts
Mm.
and everywhere in between. That's really what sets us apart. Is that we do come on site. We're taking work off of pros' plates.
Hmm.
Pros are busy, right? They've got a
Yeah.
lot going on there.
Yeah.
And we're making it so they can provide a great service to their members without, killing themselves in the process with all the work that they have to pile on and finding a box and shipping and all that stuff. So
No,
that's
absolutely.
that's that's what we do.
I like that a lot. That's a fantastic idea. It reminds me of have you ever read Shoe Dog, the book
Of
about,
course, love
yeah,
that book.
it's a
Yeah,
great
Phil
book.
Knight.
Yeah, and he talks about how they wanted to know if he had an office on the East Coast or something. I think it was like something like that.
Right.
He's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, we have
Of
one."
course. Yeah.
Didn't have one
Yeah.
at all. They had
Exactly.
to scramble real quick. So I like that.
Right.
Sometimes pushes you out of your comfort zone, but you adjust and you make do and you figure it out. And that's what separates people who have ideas and people who actually execute on those ideas too as well. So really, really like that. A couple more questions for you, and then we'll let you keep going. But you talked about you have your GolfRoots sets. Talk a little bit about that. So you mentioned you're going to talk about that a little bit
Yeah.
later. I'm
So
interested in that.
when we started out, again, we were getting clubs from the lost and founds from courses around Dallas mainly, and so we ended up with a ton of terrible clubs and we were using my parents' garage for our first year and a half of business. And so we
Nice.
had all these terrible clubs or just older clubs. And you're like, we don't know what to do with these. And so the Just the Root sets came out of a random thought, like, how could we get rid of these in a way that's not wasteful? And that was building tiny, 5 club, 4 club sets for people. Because when you're starting out, you really don't need everything. And what that
Hmm.
evolved to was our current Just the Root set, which is a wood, a long or an iron, a wedge, and a putter. So
Got it.
wood, iron, wedge, putter, which is all that you need to get started. They're name
Yeah.
brand clubs. You get 5 balls with that, and it's $89.99. And
Wow.
if you hate golf, you spent $90, and it's not the end of the world. If you love it, we then give everyone their $90 back towards a full set with us over 500, which gets you a set you can use for years to come.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we wanted to. I'm sure you've been to Top Golf before,
Yeah.
right?
Of course.
For us, going to Top Golf is so cool, but also so disappointing. And
Hmm.
the reason why it's cool is because there are all these people here, a lot of whom clearly have never played golf before.
Yep.
The reason why it's disappointing is because we never see those people out on the course,
Correct.
right? And it's because golf, again, is designed to be, exclusionary and exclusive. And instead of finding ways to bring these people in, golf as an industry has often found ways to keep them out. The Just the Root set is really designed to bring people who like golf off the course but have never tried it, to
Hmm.
give them an excuse to give this game a go.
I like
That's
that.
what the Just the Root set's about.
I like that a lot. I really, really like that a lot. I see that too because there's been brands that we've talked about. We were going to do an event at Top Golf and got a lot of feedback from brands where we don't see a connection between Top Golf, people who go attend Top Golf and actually go to the course, and it's like, well, that's kind
Yeah,
of like self-inflicted. That's what the golf space
yeah,
does, like
right.
you said. I mean, it's they limit that because we talked about it before we started this episode. I live in Arizona right now. How expensive golf is right now to play.
Yeah,
It is insane. I live right off of a executive course here called Continental, and out of season, it's not. It's I think it's less than $10 to play. Right now, it's
love
almost
it.
$90 to play.
Oh my God,
Like, and it's like
that's
I
crazy.
drive by it every single day. Like, yeah, they overseed the course looks a little nicer, but really, it doesn't. I mean, it's the same
That's
course.
wild.
I mean, the temperature's a little bit better. It's not as hot, I guess, but
Mm,
the price difference is just it's crazy. I mean, you are
yeah.
literally excluding so many people from this space. Is that your biggest pet peeve? That's actually a question I have, and you keep talking about
Oh
it. And
yes.
it's a pet peeve of mine too. But like, is that like the biggest pet peeve you have in the golf space? Is just the cost and the exclusion that it
Yeah.
portrays on everyone?
Yeah, we see that there are like 3 main barriers to entry into the game. The first one is the cost of equipment,
Hmm.
and it's just too expensive to start playing,
Yeah.
or people think it's too expensive and they don't know where to look.
Hmm.
And the second one is that golf is so hard, right?
Yeah.
And so what we
Yeah.
want to do as we continue to grow is help people find PGA pros, helpful instruction and instructors to help make it easier. Because when people play better, it's easier to enjoy the game more and
Hmm.
stay playing golf. And the third one is we want to help people find places to play where they're comfortable playing with people that they're comfortable playing with.
Hmm.
Um, for so many people, they may be one of the only people in their friend group who's going to play golf,
Hmm.
and so it can be a little intimidating, the idea of getting paired with a random stranger, or not knowing where to go. I remember when we first were selling clubs on the cul-de-sac by my parents' house, some guy bought his first set of clubs from us and said he wanted to go play at this golf course right next to his house. I was like, what course is that? And he told me the course, and it's this super super private club. And it was the explanation of that to him. As I was explaining that to him, I realized that is a strange concept for people to understand. Like, why can't you go play at this golf course? Like, it's right there. It's not
Yeah.
hidden.
Yeah.
Like, it's and I have no issues with private clubs,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think that the making it so that public courses are you know more accessible to a
Hmm.
degree, and where fun events like there's this course in Dallas called Keaton Park. Ty Nelson is the head pro there, and he just does a fantastic job of making it so that people can come out and get involved in at whatever level they want to.
Hmm.
It's not intimidating whatsoever. I wish more public courses were like that. And the fact that we have to, go from 10 to almost $90
Yeah.
in season is just it like it's crazy. I can't imagine they fill up every tee time.
That's what my thought process is all the time is you go so expensive. Like there's no way that
Yeah,
you
like
fill
what?
every single one of these tee times. Like that always is my biggest thought. And like I said, I drive past this course. I live right off. I drive past it every day. And like in the morning it's pretty busy. Like during the mid afternoon, it's like dead. And I just
It's so interesting, right?
yeah.
Like you
And
could probably really it's a volume thing at some point for public courses. And instead of price gouging on the morning tee times and on Saturday mornings, like
yeah,
why don't you just let more people play? More people are going to come play your course if they've one, a great experience, and two, have a good price to play. Um,
absolutely. I agree
I
completely.
don't run a golf course, so I don't know. Like,
Yeah, and there's
but
the
that would just be
argument.
my thoughts.
There's the argument too all the time that like the cheaper or I don't want to say cheaper, like the more effective or more cost effective you allow it to be, sometimes it brings people that don't have respect for the game and then they tear the course up and always the argument that I always
I have
hear
so
back.
much trouble with that argument
Yeah, I
too,
do
and
too. Yeah,
I think the solution, like, is to just make it easier for people to learn these things about golf,
correct.
right? Like, it there's a cognitive dissonance of keeping people out of a game where, if especially as a golf company, where you benefit from more people playing. It just
Yep.
doesn't make sense because the longer people play, the more people play, the better it is for the entire industry.
Yep.
And even as a golfer myself, even if I didn't own a golf company, I would say I want more people to play golf. I
Yeah.
want newer people to play golf. What happens when you bring newer people and more people into the game is that you have more voices asking for change. You're going to get better products from the manufacturers because the demand is going to
Yep.
generate better and better and better things every time. You're going to have better courses because there's more money being pushed into it.
Hmm.
As an industry and as consumers, we should be, just striving to bring as many people in as we can. And so the argument that, this person doesn't have respect for the game, well, help them.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And that's help them learn, like, how to rake a bunker, or how to fix a ball mark, or how to not yell on someone's backswing,
Yeah.
or just learn not to care.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of
Right?
the two.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that, like, respecting golf courses, I'm big on that. I
Yeah.
think that the etiquette stuff is, it depends on where you play whether or not it's important.
Hmm.
But education is key, and
Yeah.
if we can't educate people, then and if we're not trying, it's hard to complain about that being an issue.
Agreed.
Um,
Agreed.
but yeah, what you said is spot on there too. Like, that's like the most. That's probably one of my pet peeves, is that, like, trying to keep people out because they don't have respect for the game and stuff like that. Go play at a different course,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. I agree. I agree a million times. And I feel like it's echoed year after year after year after year. And we see like a minimal change, very minimal. So hopefully
Right.
more people come in and what voices get louder and more change occurs because I feel like just every year, especially this living out here in Arizona, I've been out here for a little over 4 years. I just see the same courses every year just getting more and more expensive. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Where do
like,
you see the trend going? You feel like it's becoming more inclusive or less inclusive
I
from your perspective?
from my perspective, I feel like it's becoming more
Mhm.
just because the cost has been increasing significantly. Look at the cost of a driver nowadays. A brand new driver is almost $600. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. And that has to do a little bit with inflation. You can argue so many different sides of this part, right? But the like I said, I've been out here for 4 years and I can think of a couple like McDowell Mountain Golf Course is a course I used to live up in. It's like
Mhm.
northern Scottsdale area. When I first came out here in season, I'm trying to remember. I think it was no more than $80. No more than $80. Right now,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go pull it up right now and see what the cost is to play. I'm pulling up as we speak, and I guarantee you that it's more than $100 right now. Let's see. I'm gonna
And I can
play on
understand the
a
golf
weekday
courses
too.
trying to maximize on the success of, the industry over the past few years. But my greatest, and I don't necessarily have an issue with them raising rates to meet demand and
Hmm.
supply and stuff like that. My issue is that if you're going to do that, what you want to see is innovation within the space, and you want to see these courses paying their staff to do more, and paying,
Yeah,
allowing them to have work-life balance. And you know people who work in the golf industry are severely mistreated, I would say. And and that has a massive effect on the results that are coming out for the consumer. I
Agreed.
don't really
Yeah,
see the reinvestment back into these courses that you would like to see with how much the industry has grown over the past 3 years. That's been
agreed.
the disappointing part for me. I'm
Agreed.
fine with rates going up, but there has to be
I
some
want to be
positive result for
yes. I want to
consumers
whatever I'm
and
paying for. I want to
industry.
see the difference, right?
Yeah,
Because like I said,
exactly.
it was like $80-$90 4 years ago. Right now, tea time tomorrow morning on a Tuesday morning is 140.
Wow.
So it's
And
like
has the course improved? Has the
no,
staff improved? Has the food improved?
absolutely not.
I think that's pretty much standard across the board right now.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
my issue.
Agreed. I like that. I like that a lot. Just trying to see a connection between if I'm paying more, I want to see what the difference is here. Like what is like, that
Yeah.
people are getting paid more, like you said, or is the food better? Is the course better? Or is any sort of deals, anything at all? I want to be able to
Right.
make
And
sure I'm
that's
paying
going to
for
end
it.
up and again, it's like, if you can have a better customer experience for a golfer who's playing your course for the first time, they're
Hmm.
going to come back, right?
Absolutely. a thousand
And then
percent.
people forget that. It's crazy.
They
It's
do.
just crazy to me.
Like the fact, like I can think of a quick example. Well, and I have one more question for you. I don't want to keep you forever,
Oh,
but
sure. No, no,
I
no.
can
You're
I can
totally
think
good.
of a quick example. We were on vacation in Myrtle Beach, and there was
Nice.
a rain delay one year, and we ended up having to get a rain check to go play, and we ended up playing. I think we played 4 holes that day. It was quick. The rain came down hard, fast, out of nowhere. We ended up just getting a rain check, and they only gave us credit back for 9 more holes. They're like, "Oh, well, you were more than halfway through the first nine," and it's like I
Oh,
ever since
that's
we
so messed up.
it's incredibly messed up. So especially as a consumer, now I can think of the exact course, and every time we go back, we never go back and play there again
No,
because
of
of the
course not.
experience that we
Yeah.
had. But like, why?
How
Why?
hard was it for them to give you that round back,
Exactly.
right? Like,
Exactly. Like that's my biggest. I agree completely. Is that if the customer experience isn't there, I'm not coming back as a consumer.
no,
I have brands and like companies in my head that I've had bad experiences with that I do not go back to anymore. I
absolutely.
just don't. I hold a pretty big grudge, and like whether that's healthy
Yeah.
or not, I don't really care. But
No,
that's what I
I
do,
that's
and
as a consumer, you're right. You're supposed to do
100.
that,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I like
And
for me with golf courses, I'll think about price. I'll think about like which course has free range balls. Like
yes,
I can
that's a
afford
huge
range balls, but like it's
yes,
having to pay for range
yes,
balls when I'm already
yes.
paying $90 to play around there. It's just kind of annoying.
It is, and
And
I get a large bucket of range
it's
balls, and
just
like, oh, it's $20. It's like
yeah, I'd rather
$20,
pay
man.
$20 more for the tea time
Agreed,
and have free
agreed.
range
Just
balls.
include it all into one price.
Yeah,
And yeah,
exactly.
if you itemize it, I ain't gonna do it.
Matt, you and I need to go buy a golf course, I think.
I'm thinking so, man. I'm thinking so. I think we have some pretty aligned ideas here. All right, last question I have for you, real quick. Where do you guys? We're coming to the end of 2023. Where do you guys see yourself by the end of next year of 2024?
Oh man, that's such a good question. We've grown so much over the past 3 years. I mean, again, we were in my parents' garage this time 2 years ago, even, right?
Yeah,
It's just, we have a 5,000 square foot warehouse with, 10 full-time employees. It is pretty cool to see the growth that we're having. I think one of the coolest parts about this team, which we just have just phenomenal guys across the board.
hmm
They really care deeply about our customers and making it so that everyone can play golf. Some of them are huge golfers, some of them are newer golfers, but at the end of the day, we're all driven by that mission. So, where we see ourselves in 2024, it's hard to say, where our next big step of growth is. Actually, it's not hard to say. We're actually coming up building an app right now.
that's
Um,
awesome.
where the app is really designed to attack our third pillar, which is focusing on the course side, as the courses as a barrier to entry and making it so that people can find places to play, find people to play with, and there's going to be a lot of development within that space for us.
Hmm.
We want it to be possible for people to have tons of fun every time they go and play. We want them to be able to find good courses in good conditions with good prices, good greens, good people, and to
Hmm.
be able to push more people towards those specific courses. There are a lot of things that we see this app doing, and we're really excited about that. But at the end of the day, our 2024, our focus remains the same. It's to make golf accessible, and our team here is going to do everything in our power to approach that in every way that we know how. And so that's what we're really excited for next year.
I love that. I love that a lot. And I would love to talk to you more about that off camera in a little bit too.
Absolutely.
But that's super, super exciting to hear. You guys have a lot of big things planned for next year. And I have no doubt, like you said, 2 years ago, you said this time you were in your parents' garage, and you're in a 5,000 square foot warehouse now, 10 full-time employees. Like, just people like thinking about that, like to, to grow your company by yourself or with a co-founder in 2 years. Most people, they're still doing it part-time, right? They're still doing it on the side while they're working something else. To now acquire 10 full-timers in 2 years, Benjamin, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. The amount of growth that you have to sustain that and to build that is amazing. Seriously, that's a big applause for you. Seriously, no, that's super, super, like, that gets me excited. Just because I love the story of people start having an idea in their head and then actually executing on it, right? And then building it and growing it and having more ideas.
Well, you guys have done that too.
Team. We're getting there, man. We're getting there. Yeah, absolutely. And I posted some pictures on my personal Instagram before about like our first ever wholesale order. I think we spent like $500, I think, maybe. And we were scared. I mean, I was so scared. I'm like, are we going to sell this stuff?
Terrifying.
Like, I'm like, I have no idea. And now I'm surrounded by like,
I see the FootJoy boxes up
there. I've got like, I don't even know how much inventory we have, but it's so much more, right? Like, this, just to see the growth is so exciting, man. So exciting. So, Benjamin, I appreciate you for taking some time and jumping on the podcast. Where can everyone learn more about you guys?
Yeah, so you guys can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at GolfRoots. It's golf.roots on Instagram. Go on golfroots.com if you want to check out our site. And feel free to shoot us a message while you're there. Our team's happy to help you as well. So thanks again, Matt. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. We should do this again.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. Maybe I got to get out to Texas and we got to actually meet up in person. I'd love to see what your guys' space looks like. That makes me super excited. So, Benjamin, I appreciate you coming on. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. For everyone listening, thank you guys for listening to the Cactus Golf Podcast. Please go check out GolfRoots. They've got a lot of great things going on right now. Like I said, I've been eyeing some things on your guys' site. So I hope you guys take the time to go spend some time over on their site and explore what they have to offer. And appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, share with your friends, and we'll see you soon.